AWS Aurora DB practical implementation with .NET Core. Welcome to Coding Book, guys. My name is Chandra Kashwaryani, and this is the demo where we will do the practical implementation of AWS Aurora DB. Just a quick overview what I'm going to cover today. First of all, we'll create Aurora DB. Of course, we'll connect using MySQL Workbench. We'll create a .NET Core empty Web API project, and then we'll run our migration commands and we'll do the CRUD operations. What you should have AWS account with you. You should have MySQL Workbench, Visual Studio 2019, and Postman. If you do not have any of them, you won't be able to do the hands-on with me. And if you want to, then please download these things. Okay, and super must is AWS account you should have. Now, in order to create the Aurora cluster, first of all, go to the services. And even before you go to services, on the right hand side, please see these are the available regions. So I'm going for Asia Pacific Mumbai. And once this is finalized, I'll go for the services. So region is really important to choose. After that, every service which you will create will be created in that region. So I have chosen the region. I have clicked on the RDS. Then I'm okay. Before I click on the create database, at the top you can see Amazon Aurora. This is some sort of recommendation from AWS. Even before I discuss about this, I have created two more videos in what I have explained the terms which will be used in the AWS Aurora DB, like read replicas, about backtracking, about snapshot, about clustering, about load balancing, about all those stuff as well. So when we'll do the practical implementation, I'll keep taking those names. So it is important when you're doing practically, that you should be aware about those terms, right? Second thing, I have already explained that why this is a suggestion from AWS, why it is recommending this database. There are so many benefits this Amazon Aurora DB is going to provide. So I would recommend you guys to watch those videos. I have provided the link in the description for those videos. Now click on the create database if you have already seen those videos. Okay, we have standard create, easy create. Easy create, that means it will do some configuration automatically. Since I'm going to do everything manually, then I will select the standard create. Then it asks for the which database do you want, although you have selected the RDS one, but inside the RDS, which one? Amazon Aurora, MySQL, MariaDB, all are relational databases. So since this is a video for the Aurora, I'll go for the Amazon Aurora. Then compatibility level, we have seen what is the differences between MySQL compatibility and PostgreSQL compatibility. This time going for the MySQL one. Then provision the serverless, when you do not know how much load to your application will come. When this is unpredictable, then you will go for the serverless, else you will go for provision. For this example, I'm going for the provision. See, replication, single master, multi-master, we have explained. I'm going for the single master this time. Then I'm not changing the default version, MySQL 5.7, 2.0, 7.2. I'm going with the default one. Template, production, or dev test, of course dev test, since it's a demo. Important one, the cluster name. So the name would be Aurora DB Demo Production. Sorry, product DB. So I'll name this Aurora Demo Product DB. Okay, the cluster name. Then credential settings. These are the credentials which you will use to connect this Aurora DB, right? So the password, sorry, user ID is admin, and choose with the password. I have gone for a really simple password, but you should never go for this password in production, even the test environment. So DB instance size, memory optimized or burstable. I'll go for the burstable because I do not want this demo to cost too much. So in the memory optimized classes, you might get so many better options of the DBs. As far as the size concern, I'm going for just for the 2 GB one. Do you want the multi-AG support? Of course, you want in the production, but not now. After this demo, I'll create another demo to explain this multi-AG, as I said earlier as well, practically. But as of now, I do not want this to create any other replica other than the writer one. So do not create another replica. VPC group, choose the default one, and this was created when you must have created your account. Do not change this. Then subnet, let it be public access. Important one, allow this yes. Only after that you would be able to connect this with your .NET Core application. If you set it no, then only the internal services can connect this Aurora DB. I have given the public access. PPC group, either you can create new one or you can go for the existing. I'm going for the existing. Priority, which starts from the for the availability zones actually. So I have chosen the region Mumbai, and I have explained that go for that region which has at least 3 availability zones. So this has 3 availability zones. It is asking for the preferences. I'm not providing any preferences. And then this is my port number. Go for additional configuration. Initial database name, product database. This is the database I want this to be created initially. Let it be default. Failover priority, again T0 to T15 we have seen what it is. For practical, we'll do it later. Backup up to 35 days. Maybe you can select 1 day. No, I do not want encryption as of now. I do not want, maybe I can tick enable backtracking. Backtracking is something which you want to, do the undo of your database up to certain limit. Limit is up to 72 hours. I'm going for the 1 hour by default. It will cost me. Monitoring, I don't want any log as of now. I don't want maintenance. And if I'm saying no, then I will not select any window as well. Otherwise, you can select the window as well. Just after the demo, I'll delete this database. That's why I'm not checking this checkbox. Otherwise, you always tick this checkbox. After that, you will never be able to delete your database. So I want to, that's why I'm not going to check this. Now the creation of this database would approximately take 10 minutes. So meanwhile, what I do, I'll just pause the video. We'll continue once it is available. Okay, so now we have the instances available to us. Now let's not waste more time and quickly click on the cluster. Here you can see we have connection string 1, connection string 2. One is for the writer one is for the reader one. We have explained the writer will make use of when you want to do the create, update and delete, and when you want to just read, then we'll make use of this connection string. Now in the reader, you would notice we have arrow that indicates is the reader one. So copy this connection string. And one thing I want to showcase, this is the VPC group. If you remember, we have gone for the default one. Here is the inbound and the outbound tool. So guys, practically if you would have enabled the encryption, we have not enabled. If you would have enabled the encryption, then you might need to update the inbound and the outbound tools as well. That means what you want to allow in the database and what you want to allow go outside, right? So for example, it is all traffic is allowed. That means from anywhere anyone can access this RoDB. Otherwise, you need to configure your maybe IP config for this or any other settings or connection string which from which you want to allow. So that's all. We have the all traffic set. Then click on the back once again. Copy the connection string. We already have the connection string. Go to your MySQL Workbench. Click on database. Click on manage connection. Click on new. Provide the connection string name. DB product. You can name it anything. In the host name, provide your host name, and you remember your username. It's admin, and the simplest password I have added, which you should never. Click on test connection. Everything is good. Click on close. Now go to your connect to database. Then click on OK. Let it connect with our database. We should see our database. We have product database with us. Great. Open your notepad file. In what we have the steps. We have created RoDB, downloaded MySQL Workbench, connected with, created. No, now the time is to create our .NET Core application. Create a new project. Click ASP.NET Core Web Application. Click on next. RoDB demo product database, and maybe I can provide the path as well. Yes, this is correct. Click on create. Now I'll select the API project. Click on create. Now it will create empty web API project for us. Then our next step is install the packages. So entity framework design, and tools. These are the 3 packages that will help you in running the migration commands. And these are the 2 packages, MySQL data and MySQL data entity framework will help you in connecting with the RoDB. Copy this. Although you can install one by one, but to save the time, you can directly add it in the csproj file. So before that, let's delete the files which you will never use. I have deleted these weather forecast default files. Right click on the project, click on the where is edit solution. I cannot see. Let me click once again, edit project file. Really sorry. So click on the item group, paste it, and then rebuild this. So these are the 5 packages will be installed to your project. Rebuild all started. What is next step? Next step is we need to paste the connection string. So connection string is your AuroraDB connection string. We'll modify this accordingly. Let's first check rebuild is succeed. We have these packages. Then go to your app setting, enter comma and provide your connection string. So for my connection string, I will come here, click on my cluster, then I'll copy the connection string and I'll paste my connection string here. After that, this is my port 3306. This is my database. No, database name is different. Product database. So product database. Fine. Then this is my ID and this is my password. Perfect. Then what next? Next is order context. So you need a order context, and before that you need a models as well. So models is basically I'm keeping just really simple. So I'll just create one class, and just to save time, I already created the product table or model, product ID, name and quantity. So this is a table we will migrate or transfer in the Aurora database. Then we have this order context. So again, you need to will this time, although you can get this from the app setting as well, but for me, I'm going to paste it as of now here as it is. So we have the same connection string, then use MySQL, and this is the product table it will create. Now what next? Next is place the entries in the startup config file. So again, come back, and in order to run your order context class, paste it here. DB connection string, that has to be the same which you have in the app setting, which is same. Then order context, provide the namespace by pressing the control dot maybe, and again control dot. Fine. So after that you're good. You can rebuild once again. And what we have next? Okay, before we do the or run the migration commands, let me copy this history file and double click on here, paste it here, run the file, refresh your tables. You should have the one table EF migration. That is important so that you can run the migration commands. Now go to your tools, package manage console, package man console, and run the commands called add migration. At first, add migration, your name, like maybe you can name it product TV, you can name it anything. Run this. Now it will create the migration script based on the configuration which you have in the order context, and in the order context we can see we have the product class. So that's done. After that, click on update database and press enter. So again it will build the application, and once build is succeeded, it will try to migrate the tables. Refresh your tables and see, do we have the table? Yes, we have the table. Now select the records. Do we have any records? We do not have any records, but it's great, we have the table. After that, what we need to do, we just need to create the controller. So I already have the controller as well. Okay, we do not have the folder. We'll create new folder, and after that we'll paste it here. Perfect. Now this is a simple API, web API product controller, API controller, and what we have get methods, we have post and the delete methods. So let's focus one by one. So we have this get, which is making use of this order context class, and it is saying which table do you have in the database. We have product table, so it will fetch the product table. Similarly, it will save in the product, and similarly it will delete from the product. We'll see one by one. Okay, now put a breakpoint here and run this application. Meanwhile it runs, let me pause once again. Okay, so application is running fine. Just copy the URL, go to your Postman. Postman is something with the help of this you would be able to execute your APIs. So replace your URL. I already have the other URL part. So this is your API, and then we have order. So API and order. Click on send. We should have breakpoint. Okay, now it will try to connect with our database and will try to fetch the product, but since we do not have anything, it should return us null. We have null, and we might see 204 no content. Great. Now we need to save the product. Okay, so here is the body. We have the product ID and test product maybe, and click on save. I think we have not added the breakpoint, but it must have saved the data in the database. We'll click on the F5 or execute this query, but still we do not have the data. Let me put a breakpoint here and see what's the problem. Click on send. Okay, we are not getting the request. Okay, we have the request now. If we have the product information which we added, then it will save, and it will save in the database as well. Let's refresh our table. Sorry, we can fetch the data. We have the test product, and also you can check now. Maybe I can remove the breakpoints from the get and from the post as well. Go to your postman once again. In the get, click on get. We have the product, right? And the last one is, that is to delete. And for the delete, let's put a breakpoint here once again. Sorry. Okay. First of all, it will get the product. We have the product. It will delete the product. Let's see whether it is deleted or not. So yes, we have deleted the product successfully. Now remove all the breakpoints. Let's run fair case from here. First of all, let's try and get a product. We do not have product, 204 no content. Then try and insert the product. Then again click on the get product. We have the product. Then delete a product. Then 200 okay we have here. Then we should not see product again. So that's all, guys. For this demo, we have successfully created our RODB cluster. We have connected using the MySQL Workbench and the Entity Framework Code First approach, and perform our CRUD operations. But that's not enough. Later, there are so many things which we will be covering, like snapshot part. We will be covering about. We'll modify this. We'll see how backtracking will work. Interesting one. We'll create the policies. How the policies, will create the reader replicas, and we'll see how the load balancing would gonna work. So there are lots of stuff. I'll still will continue in the further parts. As of now, that's all. Thank you for watching this video, and if you have any feedback, any queries, any doubts, kindly let me know by putting in the comments that are really useful for me. And please subscribe Coding Book. Thank you for your time. Thank you for